Hey guys, welcome back to Draw Along Doodles with Walker. So, we are going to be making one of my favorite things today, Gumball Machine. I just like the idea that you could put a quarter in and out pops a little thing. Also, like that there's lots of identical objects with slight variation on the inside. It's just a very soothing, very satisfying sort of look. Okay, so it will help if you have your paper vertical since it is taller than it is wide. Now, to start off, we're going to make the glass bowl. So you'll notice it's kind of a curve that gets a little bit bigger towards the bottom. We're going to we're going to imitate that curve on the other side, trying to keep them getting big at the bottom towards the same degree. And then we're going to let that line continue to curve around as it reaches the other side. So in the same way that the bottom of a cylinder curves, you want this to curve. Now I think I'm going to take it up and in just a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to add the little hat that's on top. So I'm going to be doing a curved line over. I'm going to take it out a little bit past the spaces. And then I'm going to add a second curved line that's parallel a little bit above it. Okay. Now I'm going to come and go straight up and down, straight up and down. Because that is capping off your gumball machine and not staying with it. All right, now we're going to make this next part up and lean in a little bit, up and lean in a little bit, and then we're going to repeat that curve. If you end up deciding to curve this a little bit more, so it's more like a bump as opposed to a straight shape, that's totally fine. Then we're going to come add a little cylinder on top that is the holder. Remember, we need to curve that top. Now, coming down from that cylinder would be a little pole that is the agitator for the gumballs. That way, when it turns, it forces them down. So I'm going to draw my guideline first, where it's going, and then I'm going to thicken it up just a little bit. Since it's anchored in that top cap, it can't be as wide as the top cap, but it can be close. All right, now we're going to come down and we're going to make this bottom part of the gumball machine. So I'm going to first make a square, well, not a square, rectangle, in the middle of the body. I come down a little bit more. And I'm trying to make these sides go straight up and down as much as possible and to be equidistant from the center. Okay. Now I'm going to go straight across. Now from that position, let me square that up a little bit. From that position, I'm going to have a little curve. So it's going to look a lot like you're drawing a smile from one corner to the other. Okay. Now in the middle of that rectangle, in the center of where your machine lines up, you're going to put one circle. Now that circle will have a line across the middle and a rainbow going the opposite direction. That's where you'd put your money. Now we need the thing to twist the money. So in that same central line, a little bit lower, I'm going to draw a circle. And then I'm going to draw a line going straight through the circle. Okay. Now, I'm going to come in a little bit and down to create almost a triangle, really more of a trapezoid here. And then I'm going to come the opposite way for the other side. down and out, and then in. All right, now we need to give it its ability to have a width to it, not just a side. So I'm going to go parallel to the bottom of the triangle and up. And over here, I'll do it at the top. Parallel to the triangle and up. Okay. Now, if you want, you can add some sort of impression or detailing around here. In traditional pieces, there are usually some sort of leaves or some sort of curves. Um, it was originally a show that, oh, this is, fancy enough that it can have a design on it. Sometimes now they use it to just throw back to old machines. So it's really your call. You don't have to add details and decorations. I always think it looks better when you do. But a total personal choice. Okay. There we go. Now, we need to get the rest of the body of the machine. I'm not coming all the way out to the side of the glass. I'm coming a little bit in, and it's going to angle slightly outwards. All right. Do the same thing here. A little bit to the outside of the glass. One thing you can use to measure is seeing if these distances are equal. That will help you gauge where you are. Okay. Now, just like this had a curve, so does this because it's rounded. So I'm going to come and curve this. All right. Now I'm going to add a little line that's coming around. This is going to be the little edge. A little line coming around that just scoops past the edge and curves in on both sides. So it's a little bit past the edge and then it comes in. Now I'm going to come straight down from that and straight down from that. And I'm going to imitate that curve once more. If you run off the paper, it's okay. Not the end of the world. All right, now we need the place for the gumball to come out. So we're going to make a rectangle in the bottom that is a little bit wider than the money slot, but also in the middle. And it's going to have a bump for the rainbow part. So there's the plastic part you pull up. And then we're going to curve downwards because it needs to be a dome shape. So you'll notice I curved up and then I curved slightly down. Since that's curved down, we need to curve the other part too. So we'll let this drop and then we would curve the front. If I had another piece of paper here, if it was longer, I'd be doing this. It's going to curve out in front of the rest of the bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to put two little indentations along here. A lot of them, that's how they're shaped. I don't know that it particularly matters, but that's a pretty common thing. And then I'm going to start loading up my gumballs. It helps to sprinkle them first and then start overlapping them so they don't look like you're just putting random circles in places, even though you are. But they look less fake when you jumble them. You might have some that go a little bit behind the piece, and you might have some that are up front. Okay. And you can decide whether you want yours to be all the way full up or if you want it to be, there's barely any left or just a little bit. That's really up to you. That is your call. All right. I feel like Gumball-wise, that's enough for me. Yay, time to Sharpie. All right, the thing that's the most pushed forward here is this little panel that has the place to turn and put your money in. So I'm going to come and do the curve on the bottom of the glass. And then I'm going to come to this panel. So doing my parallel lines and going across. Then making that protrusion that comes out and curves. All right, now let's get the rest of the glass. Okay, and the little hat. And then the curve on top. Very good. And then this small cylinder that's holding the agitator. All right, now we're going to come down inside. Okay. Now I'm going to get that line that comes across and around. I'm going to also get the other line that comes around. So across and around, and across and around. Okay. I did make a little mistake there as I sharpied on the first side, but I know that I am not perfect, but it is better for me to draw and try than not to try at all. Because what did I learn if I didn't try? Absolutely nothing. And then I'm going to make my curve down here. Okay. Of the parts in this middle panel, really, the twisting part and the part where you put the money are the most important. The other parts are just details, so I'll get those with a thin Sharpie later. But these I want to go ahead and get so that they're part of that first grouping of lines that you see. The grouping that is saying, hey, we are very important. Look here to try to figure out what's going on. And I'm going to come and get my gumballs. I'm paying attention to which ones are the furthest front and doing them before I do the others. There's the next one. And the next. And this would be behind that. That would be behind that. Now, the gumball that's in an interesting place is the gumball that's hiding behind the agitator in the middle. So I will go ahead and make that agitator. And then I will come and finish those gumballs. All right. Now, as far as detail lines, you've got the creases along here, and then you've got the details in your plate. So I've got these creases that are showing you I have a separation of how far forward they are or how indented they are. And then I've got my decorative stamping right here. Might have any kind of pattern. We talked about the fact that a leaf and a almost filigree pattern are really typical. Leaves are the most typical. I'm adding a couple dots as I go, just to spice it up a little bit and to show some texture. And we'll come out a little bit over here. Then I am going to add my bottom detail. And there we are. You can also come and add a shine to this little plastic part down here, the little hub where they come out. But that is up to you. All right, guys, enjoy. I hope you have fun adding the different colors and flavors to your gumballs.